because I just shared it to Facebook and everything.
Yeah, you already had some people on.
I know. So you talk and let me do for a minute.
Hello, everybody. We had some technical difficulties a while ago. I think something got fat fingered, but we back. Hope everybody's doing okay today. Kind of warm for February. Hope y'all show back up. We'll see what happens here in just a minute. Warm day for February. Very warm day. Up in the 70s. Kind of warm for February, but it ain't the first time. I've seen some warm weather in February. Hey, Spencer, how you doing tonight? Yeah, it's warm, but I know how it is. I've seen snow in March, April. I've seen it go down below 32 in May before with frost. And y'all just coming back on. Yes, we had some technical difficulties a few minutes ago, so sorry about that. She had to start it over. So
Yeah, I hit the wrong button.
Yeah, I can't tell who the next person that just signed on.
Cryptic Crystal.
Okay, hey, Crystal, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm trying to go in here and redirect everybody, and I messed up.
Yeah, I think it got fat fingered.
It did. I hit the wrong button.
Oh, we tried to go deer hunting today, and it's too warm to deer hunt. It's been a day we went crappie fishing. But we did go up on the mountain, done a little videoing for Fireside Chats for Friday. Got the stuff finally that I've been trying to get for the last 2 weeks, maybe on video without it disappearing on us. I hope anyway. So how's everybody's week been this week?
Still working.
I think Mr. Mark D just come on, I think, if I can read that from over here. Hello, Mr. Mark. She's played him in. We're going to talk about chickens here in a few minutes, different breeds, what they're, some of them's better egg producers, some are better meat producers, and some of them's down the middle. They'll do both. So, I got it.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we're getting people jumping in.
Let me just go check out Facebook real quick. Okay, good. It's there.
Okay.
Now let me go.
She's double checking, make sure everything went back through everywhere.
So. The other one still shows that it's active.
Okay.
So I need to go in and delete that one, I guess, too.
Okay, yep. I don't know. We better be careful how you go to deleting right now.
Well, everybody's going to the other one, so.
I don't know.
Well, some of them are coming here, yeah. But I went and put a comment on the other one, and I'm fixing to go delete the other one.
Okay.
So y'all just bear with us for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Live. Delete this one.
Yeah, it is warm. I'm about ready to shed this blue jean shirt. In fact, I was ready to shed it up on the hunt club. Actually, I almost went to sweating. It's just been
it's not
we're supposed to get a little rain here in Alabama tonight. I think it's supposed to be over with before daylight. And I think tomorrow's back a little cooler. I think tomorrow's cloudy too.
It's not letting me delete the other one.
Then it gets cool this weekend again a little bit. So.
Cryptic Crystal, beautiful here in PA. Spencer, y'all had 5 people watching on the other one. Yeah. Finally on time, Mark D made it. Cryptic Crystal, they're finally hitting the 40s. Hey, y'all from Flat Rock. Blue Eyed Northern's here.
Blue Eyed Northern.
Spencer's here. Mark D's here. Who did I miss? I think that's it.
Okay. Yeah, the other channel may be, or other thing, maybe throwing people off. Maybe they'll.
Yeah, that's why I need to cancel it, but I can't go in there to cancel it.
Well, if any of y'all, some of the ones that get on here, maybe text them and tell them it got goofed up or something.
Yep. I went and put a comment in the live on the other one, so maybe they'll they'll move to this one. Plus, the other one still says they're waiting on us.
Huh?
The other one still says it's waiting on us.
Oh, is it?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That ain't good.
Yeah, it's there. It's just waiting on us.
All right.
So, yep.
Well,
It's interesting.
what kind of week you've had?
It's been a week. I
Okay.
swear if my text doesn't stop going off.
All right.
And y'all, I am a text person. I am a get to the point, let me carry on person. I am not a chit chat on the phone for hours person. I'm not a chit chat on the phone for 10 minutes person either. So I don't mind talking on the phone, but if you want to talk on the phone, you better have something to talk about, because I don't do talking about the weather and trying to come up with a conversation and all that.
I don't have that issue.
We're going to talk about the topic that we want to talk about.
I don't have that
Oh
issue.
my gosh. The number of people that just want to chat. It's
But
just,
some of them people could be lonely.
I'm not their go-to person. Yeah. I'm not that person. I'll give them your number, babe. Because you can handle it.
I don't mind talking to people.
I do this during the phone call. I'm like,
I work in a job. I have to talk.
so do I. So do I. I
Right.
don't people long, though. I don't handle peopling long, though.
Well, anyway,
I can people, though. I'm very good at my job.
we got a lot
Let's
of people in. So who else is showing
Spencer says he's glad Mark talks. He's lonely. I will leave that one alone. Chickens that do well with cold winters. By cold winters, what do you mean? Because it's all in how you raise them. But if you're wanting a chicken that lays year round,
That ain't gonna happen. No.
that don't happen unless you give them light. The reason chickens stop laying in the winter is not because of the cold. It is because of, 1, daylight hours being shortened. 2, stress from no food, no water, frozen water
cold,
specific.
Cold, stressful some.
Cold is a stress too, but if you let them acclimate with it to
Yeah.
start with, it's not as much of a stress. But now, I don't know much about the North. I'll go ahead and tell you that. But the heavier breeds, I would assume, are better in the North because there's more body to keep them warm.
Well, I mean, you think
I don't
about
know.
it, like the Rhode Island Reds, the New Hampshires.
I
A lot of
mean,
those were developed in those areas
Mhm.
that get pretty cold. So they're
and that's
probably
where most of your hatcheries are. So
right.
I don't really know how to answer that question.
I'll say it this way. I think the Lord made animals to be able to adjust to the climates they're in.
Country style ribs.
I think he's got everything situated like he wanted it. And most animals, and you have them few breeds that might not do well up north, like jungle fowl or something.
Hey, Misty.
They may not. Hey, Misty, how you doing? Some of those might
Spencer
not do well.
said, just don't. He told Pat not to say hi to her, just ignore her.
Oh.
That it was for the best.
Well, they're starting off already.
Already.
Woo!
So, yeah.
Lord mercy.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and get started on different breeds of chickens.
All right. So, different breeds of chickens. It mostly depends on what you're wanting out of your breed. If you are wanting eggs, the best breed for eggs, numerous eggs, is, well, and let me back this up a little bit. You've got 2 categories. You've got your hybrids, like the Isa Browns and all them new varieties they've come up with that I really don't know much about because we don't buy them. And then you've got your plain old regular heirloom varieties. I'm going to tell y'all about heirloom varieties because I don't know production varieties, okay? Production varieties, you can't breed back. Can you hatch their eggs? Yes. Will you get an Isa Brown from an Isa Brown? Not normally. So keep that in mind. That's why I'm going to talk about the heirloom, the open pollinated of the chicken world.
Open pollinated. Okay.
The ones that you can breed true to breed. So
They technically are hybrids too because they spend different
all
chickens.
of them are. All of
all
them
over
are.
the years.
Even your heirlooms. That's why I changed it from heirloom to open pollinated.
Open pot.
Oh, low maintenance. I got you there too. So, first of all, and again, it depends on what your purpose is for that low maintenance bird. All right, so back to the best egg layer. You want straight eggs, nothing else but an egg. Okay. Let me dispel a myth for you first. White eggs are not grocery store eggs. White eggs don't taste like a grocery store egg unless you buy it from the grocery store. A white egg from the farm tastes just like a brown egg or a green egg or a purple egg or a pink egg. Okay, yes, there are purple-ish toned eggs.
Oh, yeah.
So the one I'm fixing to tell you is a white egg layer. Okay, the leghorn is
just like the cartoon.
Best egg layer out there, guys. The best one. We bought a few, and they laid an egg every single day. I don't think they ever
Cold,
missed.
hot.
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
They didn't miss an egg, and that was with coryza. So coryza is a respiratory disease. Most respiratory diseases have side effects. For instance, coryza is decreased egg production. Well, even with that side effect of coryza, that leghorn didn't stop laying. Every day it laid an egg. No joke. Now,
they're a scrawny bird.
They're a scrawny bird. There is no meat on that bird. It was the smallest of the standard breeds. We're not going to talk about banties. It was the smallest. It wasn't far from the banties, though, was it?
She was just tall, but she wasn't big.
Yeah, she was long-legged and skinny.
Yeah.
All three of them were. But they were the smallest of the standard breeds, but they laid the biggest egg of all the breeds.
Did she ever have some double yolks?
Yeah. She had some double oaks too, which is odd for a bird that laid every day, because that would mean she would have laid 2 eggs, because it would have backed up and then got another yolk in there and then come back out again.
Personally, if I was going to wanted to have a lot of eggs on my place, even to the point she's going to sell a few to neighbors or
that
family,
leghorn.
That leghorn, even though that's a scrawny chicken. I mean, you look at that chicken, you go, ain't nothing, no meat on there. But it was a very good laying
That
hen.
chicken kept laying through the molt too.
That chicken was spitting them out.
Now, let me give you some of the downsides for the leghorns. Leghorns have one purpose and one purpose only. Like we said, that is a scrawny bird. It is not a meat bird.
It ain't like the cartoon foghorn, leghorn, where he's big and all the hens are fluffy.
There is no meat on that bird for you to eat. So when you are hatching eggs, you need to have a plan for them roosters that's notorious for taking over the majority of the hatched eggs.
They can whoop everything else too.
That is the other downside. They are awesome foragers, awesome free rangers, but they are a dominant bird in a coop situation.
They'll whoop every other rooster in the bunch.
Yeah, exactly. They will put them down.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. It is the best egg laying breed, though. Okay, if they're the only breed you have, you shouldn't have no problems, because they'll each stand up for themselves. You're always going to have the pecking order, guys. So don't forget, the pecking order happens whether you want to stop it or not.
And the hens have a pecking order too.
Yes. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
They have a pecking order. There's going to be chickens get pecked on. That's natural way of things.
So what's your second best, you think?
I don't know if I have a second best for egg laying. But what I can do is get
Easter are pretty decent.
They miss some. Ours is mixed. But what I can do is get into those dual purpose ones.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's where the second egg best layers come from. Right. Is the dual purpose ones. And that's what we looked at. I made a list a while back of what birds I wanted. And leghorn was at the top, but it's got no meat. My second best egg layer was a dual purpose bird, meaning it was good for meat and for eggs. The black astrolop.
That's true. Yeah.
Yep, the black astrolop. Now, the downside of the black astrolop, they are perfect for a coop situation. Do not put them in there with the leghorn, because the Leghorn will beat them down. They do not like to stand up for themselves. They are your pets. They are your low maintenance. They are your docile breed. And you're going to have to feed them. They'll free range some, but they're not the best at free ranging. Now, what we have, Lord have mercy, what we have.
You got Duke's mixture out there.
We don't even have a Duke's mixture. We have the Heinz 57. We have the mutt of the chicken world. That's what we got now. We started out with barred rocks. We started out with Easter eggers. We started out with Morans. We started out with Astrolops, the Leghorns, Wyandottes. That's another good egg laying breed.
Yeah.
We started out with all these different breeds, and after Coryza hit, there was no point in keeping them separated anymore. And we have basically dwindled down what we had originally to just a few birds. We also had some Whiting's True Blue and Whiting's True Green through in there. Right. So we whittled down to a few birds, and the basic breed that we have left out there is whatever survived Coryza and hatched and survived, because there's several that have hatched and survived now. We are 2017 is when we got Coryza at the parsonage. Somewhere in there. That's where me and you got married, right?
Yeah.
And Ella started her chick chain project, right? Right. So 2017 in that area is where we got Coryza, and we have had our current flock that long. And including its mixed breeds. So we don't purchase many to add to the flock. We kind of tried to add some this year, and we lost several of them to Coryza yet again. But we did have a few that survived. We had a Moran, so we now have a chocolate-colored egg laying out there. The Easter egger and the Morans, when they got together, they created olive eggers. And we've got an olive egger or two out there. We've got a couple of the Whitings that lay, because there's a bluish egg and one that's a pretty greenish egg. We've got a pinkish looking egg out there even. So,
might want to hit on your silkies too while you.
Oh Lord, what am I hitting on with the silkies?
Well, they were a good egg producer.
Oh yeah, they were.
Now them some rich eggs.
Yeah, ooh, they produced eggs, but guys, that egg is this big versus this big. Okay, so something about this egg caused people to have some stomach issues because I guess it was just all of that packed into a tiny little shell, and it just, and the Silkies is like an awesome broody chicken. Every time I turned around, they were sitting on eggs again. I mean, it was something.
Oh, that's cool looking chicken, especially with them 6 claws on each foot.
Oh yeah, I know it.
That was a weird thing. First time I ever looked, I said, Lord of mercy, this thing got 6 claws down here.
Let's see.
I was going to try to pull my YouTube up to get in the chat myself.
Yeah, the internet's not working right, because that's what I was having problems with it too. Yeah. Let's see. Listening but working in the kitchen. What about when they change feathers? Yeah, that's the molds. It depends on the breed. Some of them do better than others. Do they attack kids? I need one that'll put my kids in. Oh my goodness, you can train it to do so.
Who asked that?
Cryptic Crystal.
Okay.
And Spencer said, should you have multiple breeds? Should you have multiple breeds?
You asked if somebody wants one of everything.
Yeah. It depends on your purpose. Yeah. Everything that most of you have all asked, it depends on your purpose. If your purpose is eggs and you don't plan on eating any of your chickens, then you want your main number one breed. If you're going to hatch those eggs and sell that breed, you want one breed. Or you want it separated from the rest of the breeds somehow. If you're going to hatch eggs, then you want separate breeds so that you know what you've got. We, like Mark said, have the Duke's mixture. We have the Heinz 57. We have the pure 100% mutt chicken. We do. And I'll say this. It's just like in the dog world. What's your healthiest dog?
The mixed up breed, yeah.
Yep. And that's how it is out in my yard right now.
All the time make the best hunting dog, too.
Yep. That's how it is in my yard right now. We've got the mixed up breeds, and they are they are handling coryza like a champ.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, we have had chicks hatch and live finally, which is just wild in my eyes, because that's where we lost most of them before, was young chicks. Right at the point where they would go outside and start doing well, or the mama hen hatched them and she was taking them around and they were getting their feathers, and you could almost tell if they were male or female. That's when we'd start losing them. So now they're hatching and most of them are living. So we're good. Now, if your purpose is meat
and eggs,
that's that dual purpose.
That'd be Rhode Island Reds.
No.
There's
Astrolot. That's your number one, because that's a bigger, heavy body. But if your purpose is meat and not eggs, then you don't care how well it lays. That Cornish cross, I hate to say it, that's a good breed, but it's not.
Freedom Rangers.
The Cornish cross is not producible, though. We can't hatch Cornish cross. You have to purchase them. The Freedom Rangers, I've heard, that's not a producible breed either, though.
And that new German.
The American breast, is that what it is?
American black breast or something?
Breast.
Oh,
B-R-E-S-S.
we can get hit.
Yeah, you are. You should have said breast. It's breast. B-R-E-S-S. And it's I think it's a German breed that they have brought over here now. But something you want to keep in mind is the price of those birds.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
They are not cheap. But over time, if your purpose is self-sufficiency, then that $36 day-old chick, $36 chicken, over time will take care of itself with its eggs, the chicks it hatches.
Pretty big too, what I say.
Yeah, that's a good meat breed. That's what I'm saying.
There's several others out there, I think.
Now, they're not the best layers, but they're good layers. They are labeled as a multi-purpose.
One reason a lot of people going to those type is because they can get the eggs and hatch their own.
And keep it going.
Cornish cross, you can't. The Freedom, So a lot of people are going to that where
it's open pollinated versus hybrid again.
Oh my God.
Sorry. Yeah.
So there's all kind of chicken breed. I mean, I used to raise bannies way back yonder. I liked those. They were real good about being broody. I hatched off a bunch of turkeys off of banny hens before. I found a big clutch of turkey eggs. I was bush hogging a big field. Hate it. Run over the hen. She wouldn't get off the nest. I didn't know she was there. Of course, I seen feathers go everywhere. I got off the tractor and walked back there because I knew she was probably sitting on a clutch of eggs. And sure enough, there was 12 turkey eggs there. So I gathered them up and carried them to the house with me and put them under 2 banny hens, and 6 apiece, and they hatched them off.
They could hold 6.
Yeah, oh yeah, they did. They did. So,
yeah.
So they're a good little breed too. They're not got
all the banny. Well, banny is not a breed.
Well, bantams.
But that's not a breed.
Yeah.
That's a bunch of breeds.
Well, true.
It's just a class.
Yeah, style.
Yeah.
But I like them.
Silkies are a bantam. Yeah. I like those silkies.
Yeah.
I think silkies is probably my favorite, and the bantam cochin.
Yeah, we had a nice little rooster here that somehow popped up out of.
Who's that calling you now?
That's Brandon. Let me tell him. I'll text him back in a minute.
So yeah, something else you want to consider about chickens.
Yeah, let me call you back in a few minutes.
So I have a tendency to stay away from the game breeds because the game breeds are your escape artists. They're the ones that's going to hop the fence and go roam the neighborhoods. Bannies do the same. And the Easter eggers that we have also do not like to stay inside the fence.
No, they don't. They got that game bird in them.
That's what I was saying. They don't like to stay in the fence.
I heard game birds lay eggs good.
They do, and they go broody awesomely, but they don't like to stay in the fence. Right. So I remember that was one of the things growing up. My mama hated when we had Easter eggers or game birds because the neighbors hated the chickens in her yard. Miss Gilly, I remember it. And we would always have to go over the fence and go get the chicken and bring it back. I don't want to go get no game chicken.
It's like going up on our hunting club. There's a guy lives on that dirt road, and he keeps a lot of game.
Mm-hmm.
They'll
They
be
always in the
always.
road.
His house is a half a mile off the paved road, and you'll turn in, and there'll be his chickens right there at the highway.
Silkies can be the crazy looking ones, but the Polish are really crazy looking.
Yeah, with that Rod Stewart hairdo.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of crazy looking chickens out there. There's
Yeah.
there's a naked neck chicken even,
Yeah, that's
and
ugly.
they have crossed a silky and a naked neck and created what they call a showgirl.
Yeah.
With the frizzle feathers and no hair, and then a poof on its head.
Yeah.
Those are not great egg layers, guys. Stick with a breed, not a mix.
Unless you just want
mixes
them for
aren't
pets
great.
or something. That's different. If you want just something like that out in the
Yeah,
yard.
yeah. They are cute. They're so ugly, only their mama could love them. But
Talking about chicken breeds a minute, let me say this real quick too. It's very easy to keep a few chickens, and you ain't got to go build
stolen
no.
by something.
Huh?
Go ahead.
What now?
Go ahead.
You ain't got to go build no big fancy Beverly Hills chicken house. You
No.
can go get you some chicken panels. Cattle panels. Bend them over.
Make a hoop coop.
Make a hoop, and you cut one in half. Make the back, and get you some deer netting,
And a tarp.
and go over and put your tarp on in, and you can have your chicken to keep 4,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7 chickens easy.
We kept 12 in there.
But
I like to let them free range.
Yeah.
But now we have 5 of those put together to make one coop. We zip tied 5 in a row and then cut one in half for the back and the front.
Yeah.
So
you could go spend $100 just on the
cattle panels.
cattle panels and have your little chicken house.
And holds more than any of those cute little chicken coops.
The
ever
other thing
thought
about the
of.
chicken coops is over time they start rotting in
Oh,
there.
and it don't take long.
And this metal will be there. Only thing you might have to do is change the tarp out once a year or something.
Yep.
And
The tarp is the only thing we have to change. The netting never gets hurt. Now it's deer netting, which means it's the thick plastic. It is not the bird netting that tangles up in everything.
yeah, get the deer net. And it's not very expensive. You can probably get one roll do enough. What is
Spencer said, yeah, but have y'all had any chickens stolen by something? And then Cryptic Crystal said her daughter brought her GSD over and they lost the 2 they had. So theirs was to a dog. We, as far as I know, have never lost a chicken to
Bigfoot?
the big critters. We've lost them to hawks.
Hey,
Yeah,
if we have,
we don't
it's
know.
hard to tell.
And we are not counting.
There's the thing. I probably need to start counting,
Well,
especially the time of year we're getting into right now, where food's getting very low.
there's a reason we haven't really been counting, and it's because we've got our flock on a cull list anyway. And I keep saying, well, if Bigfoot wants one, he can have one. I'm not going to fuss too much about one less bird to process.
Well, that's just kind of like when I was going in the rabbit barn,
Now that bugs me,
opening the doors and letting rabbits out
but never got one.
that we know of. Now, those ones that got out of the big fence, they may have got.
Yeah,
Or
the ones that I
something
couldn't catch.
Or something got them, which would have been
Yeah.
a fox or coon
Yeah.
or something.
But as far as have they walked into the cage and got one? No, they opened the
we don't.
cage and the rabbits. Most of the rabbits are too stupid to get out.
And why I can tell when something's been in there
How
because
jumpy.
they'll get jumpy with me because I'm a big fella. I'm tall. She can walk in there, they don't get jumpy. I can walk in there and they flip
Now, see,
out.
that's when I can tell too, though, is when I walk in and they just start jumping because I'm not that big. And they start jumping at me walking in, who's in there every day, all the time, or used to be. I know Bigfoot's been in there.
And we've probably seen what we thought were impressions too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And sometimes finding the feed shed open.
Yes, we found that a lot.
And found
And
the
that
drum
time-
lids off.
And that time that the water was running, that it was not me. Remember that?
So it's hard to say on all that. But,
Yeah. So, Yeah, the Bigfoot has come through there opening cage doors.
It's the only thing it could have been, unless we got somebody living in the neighborhood that's doing it.
Which is not normal.
I don't think we do.
I don't think so
Not
either.
after we find another evidence here and there.
Yeah. We thought it was me to start with, that I was leaving them open. But there's a few times I can go in there and say, I did not leave that open. I know I shut that. It's like the water that time. It was running for a day and a half.
No, they run from one day to the next day.
Oh, I thought it ran like a full day, and we went out there the next morning, like the night before, and then the next day we didn't go out there or something, and then the next morning we did. I don't remember either, but it ran, guys, and I did not leave it on. I know for a fact.
So, we know they can do stuff we can do. We got that thumb like we do.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, chickens that are low maintenance. Well, guys, chickens are low maintenance.
Most of them are low maintenance.
It's you who makes them not low maintenance.
A lot of people, and not knocking nobody doing what they do.
You can make them all the pet you want.
You know, a lot of people will go overboard, which is fine. That's their chickens. They do what they want to with them.
No chicken has to have a heat lamp that's grown and feathered.
Right.
If a chicken is molting in winter, right, you don't put blankets on it. You do not. Those pin feathers hurt.
They can handle most cold weather. They can handle hot weather as long as they got water
and food.
The Lord made them to be able to handle this stuff, but a lot better than we can handle it. That's like people bringing dogs in at night and all this. They got hair all over them. They're bred to be out in cold weather. It's we humans who make them where they're not.
Now, if you've got a dog like Sister, do not leave Sister outside in the winter. And why don't we leave Sister out in the winter? Because she's not used to it.
Because we've made her that way.
Yeah, it's us. If she was a full-time outside dog, she would be fine outside all winter long. But she's not an outside dog.
Now, I will say on your chickens, it's better if you got where they can get out of the wind. But now a chicken is going to be a chicken. If you free ranging, they're going to want to jump up in a tree somewhere, or they're going to want to get up on something. The chicken, you can build them palace, like I said.
What Misty just said, they fluff up their feathers to keep warm. It gives them that air layer against their body as insulation.
Just like cows and hogs, they can take the weather. As long as they can move and get water and feed, they're fine.
So I know y'all have seen the videos where my chicken coop is in the background or whatever. So we've got, is it 5 of them side by side? Something like that. We got 5 of the hoop coop runs basically out there for them to be in. I mean, they've got a tarp on the back. They've got netting on them. They've got a back door and a front door. And y'all know where they were in 9-degree weather?
Up on top of it and up in the trees.
In the 9-degree weather, they were not inside my coop with the wind being blocked off of them like was designed. They were up on top of it. During the rain, you know where they are?
Up on
top of that coop instead of, again, inside on a roost that was provided for them out of the elements. So if you only had 2 or 3, how many eggs would they produce? Again, it depends on the breed. The manure is good for gardening, but you have to compost it first. If you get leghorns and you have 2 or 3 of the birds, then you will get 2 or 3 eggs per day if it's a leghorn.
If everything is kosher.
Correct. If they're stressed, then it slows down the production. But
and heat can stress them. Cold can stress them.
Make sure they've got plenty of water.
Predators can stress them.
And some shade.
Biggest threat I see chickens is hogs. And then if you get a coon comes in, or a possum, or a mink, or a fox, they'll like it. Especially a coon. A coon, I don't know why they do it. It's just I guess the fox comes in there to eat them. The mink does. The possum does. But for some reason, the coon goes into a killing spree.
So does mink.
Oh, do they? they'll kill every chicken in there and
mink,
won't eat them
weasel,
all.
whatever it
I
is
don't know
thing
why they do that.
takes
for,
heads off.
But well, coon does too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I don't know.
And the mink weasel can get in the little holes a coon can't.
Yeah, that's true.
So mink or weasel, whatever it is.
There's two different.
Skink.
There's mink, and then
What's a
there's
skink?
weasel. Huh?
Skink's a lizard thing, isn't it?
I
I don't know.
And the other one you have is a civet cat and a skunk.
Yeah, that's not it.
Civet cat is the one with spots. It looks like a skunk. And of course, skunk's got the stripe down its back.
I'm thinking of the weaselly looking.
Whereas we here in Alabama call them polecat.
Kind of like the ferret. Let's see. Ours would always go into the coop on their own at night. Ours would to start with, but ours is an open coop basically. So it's not like a little chicken house.
Unless something was bothering.
Right, unless something was bothering them. And ours is not bothering them because
something
it's
could have
open sided anyway. So
Well, there's a couple times where, we found that tarp on the back kind of looked funny looking. Like something.
oh yeah, where it went and pulled it up.
Like something pulled that tarp up.
But yet all the birds were there.
Yeah.
Yep. The reason ours don't go back into the coop anymore is, let's see, what's your thoughts on, oh Lord.
Huh?
I was reading the comments, sorry. The reason ours don't go back into the coop is because honestly we leave the doors open so they can free range. And they did go back into the coop for a little while, and then they got to where they liked being outside the coop. I pinned them back up and they find the holes to get back out now. And again, I'm over it. If they want to be hawk and owl bait or Sasquatch bait, I'm okay with it at this point. This is our coryza birds. And
at a point we're going to probably have to take them all out and start over.
Yeah.
Which is probably not a good time to do it right
and now. I like my birds. I do. I like my birds, but they are meant to be on the cull list, and I haven't culled them yet.
Now, coryza, you can still eat them. So that coryza does not affect the meat.
No, it doesn't. It's just a respiratory disease. That's all it is. Once they're well, they pass it on to each other and stuff. That's the only downside is it's not affecting just one bird. It's affecting your whole flock. But it doesn't pass to us. It doesn't affect the eggs. You can even hatch the eggs in an incubator and have coryza-free birds, which we thought about doing when we got everything culled. The point where we made that decision, today's the day the last of the birds are going. I thought about putting some eggs in an incubator and keeping my bloodlines, because the ones that I have are doing well against coryza now. So that's bloodlines I want to keep. But I don't know. I may not.
A guy was talking about that with the chicken flu.
Crystal retracted her message.
Huh?
Cryptic Crystal retracted her message. And I thought it was something, I can't remember what it said, but I thought it was something I wanted to answer. I don't remember now. Can you explain why roosters crow at night?
Oh boy.
They have light.
They're crazy.
There's light. It's the light. If there is a light anywhere nearby, then they'll still be crowing because they crow at dusk and dawn. So if there's a street lamp somewhere near that's causing light to be in their coop or in their range of sight, then they think it's like morning time and time to get up. Hunting eggs once they, that's fun. So let me go back up, and that's what the question was. I remember now. Let me go back up. What's my thoughts on oregano and other herbs in the water or feed for natural antibiotics?
Answer it, baby.
I'm trying to figure out how to word it nicely. What's my thoughts on it? My thoughts is it's a good thing to try, but why are we doing antibiotics when the chicken's not sick? That's my answer. It's like the person that's buying wormer as a preventative. Don't treat them unless they have worms. Don't give them an antibiotic unless they're actually sick. And if they are sick, why are they sick? You need to know the why. That is one of the reasons that all of these different contagious respiratory diseases are taking the hold that they are taking is because everybody's treating things that they shouldn't be treating with antibiotics. Whether it's a natural antibiotic or a medical antibiotic, it doesn't matter. You're treating what's called a cold in a chicken, and it's not a cold. It's a contagious respiratory disease. I've not tried oregano in there. I know that my particular disease, when it flares up, I have a prescribed antibiotic that is directed towards that particular problem because it's weird. It's a bacteria that acts like a virus. I mean, it's weird. It acts like a virus, but it's a bacteria. So it's most antibiotics don't treat it well. Let's put it that way. So I've not tried oregano. I'll be honest. And other herbs in your water and feed. I like to put herbs and stuff in the nest boxes as a mite deterrent. Maybe I don't do any of this though. Ours free range, and they get what they need from the whole area that they're allowed to free range in. And this goes back to what Cryptic Crystal said a moment ago. Ours get a lot of stuff from the entire area that they free range in. They get to dust bathe, which helps with the mites. They get to do all the things that chickens need to do to stay healthy on their own as if it was a wild chicken. Ours, when you talk about low maintenance, we technically go out there and gather the eggs each day. We check feed, once a week, really?
Yeah, because we have big feed.
Yeah, and we check waterers when we feed and water the rabbits. We made the big DIY totes into a feeder that holds a 50-pound bag of feed at one time. And we have 2 of those, plus we have 5 or 6 litter buckets that we put that 90-degree elbow in.
Any of y'all
also,
that cat litter buckets?
Save them.
Save them, and you then
nest boxes, feeders. Yeah. You can turn it into a waterer. I mean, It's awesome. It's why we quit using the boxes of litter and the bags of litter, because you get a plastic tote with the cat litter. So, but touching on what Cryptic said, something about hunting the eggs once they are used to the free range. So when we first moved here, we had 20 acres. Yeah. And it was 20 acres of Easter egg hunt. It was awful.
Oh, but you're going to have fun when you go looking for guinea eggs.
Oh, I know it. I'm hoping that Major Tom keeps them inside the fence while they lay. It might, because I stay with him so far. But so 20 acres of Easter egg hunt every single day. Mark also did not like the fact that when we would walk out the back door, there was chicken poop in the driveway.
Well, it'd be on the sidewalk,
it'd be
everywhere.
I mean, in the fence, yeah. When chicken free ranges, they go everywhere. We had started putting a fence around a designated area that's about an acre?
Yeah.
Maybe an acre. And we were taking our time on it. Well, 2 dogs got into the coop, into our little hoop coops. And let's just say they no longer here.
17, 18.
And they're no longer here, 17 or 18 birds later.
Well,
but we also got on the fence pretty fast after that. Because, we couldn't risk another dog coming in here and taking out the rest of the birds at that point. Even though they had coryza, we still needed our eggs. And, we hadn't set up a new area for new birds yet. So 20 acres of Easter egg hunt was not fun. But we got on that fence and finished it. So now they mostly free range in a 1 acre area.
So let's we're getting down about.
Well, you don't have to go to work tonight.
Well, yeah. Well, everybody might not want to stay on here all night either.
Darn.
But we'll go over a little bit. All right. So if I was to walk up to you today And say, Rebecca, what is your
Oh,
favorite?
Spencer, I was trying to be nice.
What is that?
Spencer said, at least they ain't going on about poop or chitlins or sister eating nothing.
Yeah.
It's being nice. I hadn't brought up any of that. Anyway, what were you going to
Yeah,
say?
you did. Brought up about chicken pooping on the steps.
Oh, I did.
So-
Whoops.
In your opinion, what's the best egg layer to you, and what's the best meat for you?
Best egg layer is going to be that leghorn.
All right, meat.
The best meat's going to be that black astrolot because it lays eggs too. Yep.
So
Dual
that's
purpose.
her.
And that Cornish cross if you can get them, but you can't reproduce them because they're the best on raisin.
And
They nasty birds. But
we're not really going to hit on turkeys or guineas.
Mm-mm.
Turkeys is another good thing for your homestead, but now you're going to need a bigger area, and they do get a lot bigger. Then they are hard to raise. Guineas lay a lot of eggs. Also, I used to have an uncle ate them guineas like crazy. I wasn't crazy about them. They dark meat. Make good chicken. Make, I guess, good guinea dumplings. But one good thing about them, they eat a lot of bugs.
Y'all, I'm just catching up your
Well,
comments.
that's why I don't know why my phone won't go into the YouTube tonight. It's just sitting here. And I'm showing service. It's crazy. It's weird.
It's all on what they eat, Spencer, and how much meat is on that bird. And it's also on. Now, I have heard that the age of the bird also causes it to not taste the same. Like a Cornish cross is not going to taste as muscular. I guess that's the way you put it.
Yeah, it's real soft.
It's not going to taste as muscular as the Freedom Rangers per se, but it's because they're just sitting on the ground. They don't even stand up to eat 90% of the time. And you process at such a young age. With the Freedom Rangers and the other breeds, you're going to process, 6 months?
Yeah.
It's a big difference, and it's time for that meat to age. Oh, hold on.
Most of the chicken that we are eating,
Let me
if
show that.
if you go to fast food places or restaurants, you're eating a Cornish cross.
Absolutely, Miss Crystal. That is definitely better than any nasty grocery store garbage. Yes. So, y'all, I work at a feed store, basically. We'll call it that. Some of y'all know where I work. I have people coming in all the time wanting antibiotics for their chickens.
Let me get on the chat and see.
And that's why I
Sure
get
which one it is.
stirred up about the antibiotics thing, about the diseases and all, because I raised chickens most all of my life. I've had chickens, and until 2018 I had never had a disease. What you saying?
Spencer said, Mark, you eat pig guts.
Exactly.
We ain't trusting anything you eat that says it tastes good.
Yeah, that's the one I had to go in and show because apparently it didn't like the pig guts. I don't know. Sometimes this thing's weird about what it chooses to allow and not allow. But yeah, I get stirred up on these chicken diseases. I had a customer come in the other day and they said,
"Hey, I can survive with the Bigfoot."
Yeah. They said, my chicken's got green snot, and the chicken board said to come in and get this antibiotic and do this and this and this. I said, your chicken doesn't have a cold. She said, well, what do you suggest I do? Somebody else had already given her the same answer that works at the store as well. I was like, you need to call that bird before the rest of your flock gets it. This is, so coryza doesn't pass to people. It doesn't. But avian influenza is another respiratory disease, and it is contagious also. And coryza is just contagious to each of the other chickens and types of poultry, by the way, meaning your quail, your turkeys, your guineas, and all the other types of poultry, which includes emus, by the way, since emus are becoming a big thing on a lot of these homesteading places for some reason. And ostriches, those aren't cheap, by the way. So if you get coryza and you have to cull your emu, it's not funny. But avian influenza is different. Avian influenza passes to mammals from an insected bird. And if you don't know what you're treating, then you are spreading these respiratory diseases, and you could be spreading avian influenza and not know it. Spreading coryza is bad enough. We got coryza from a turkey.
Yeah, we did.
Lost half of our flock probably due to an infected bird. How did we find out it was from that particular animal?
We sent it off and had it checked.
Well, that's how we found out what we had. If you have a chicken that's sick, you need to have it tested. If you have a chicken die, you need to have a necropsy done.
Most of the state universities in your state.
Auburn does not run that lab.
Oh, they don't?
The state does.
Oh, do they?
It's just located in Auburn.
It's
That's
Auburn.
why it's got the name.
Okay. You can, most states and probably some universities are going to have where you can test chickens.
Yeah.
And of course, they're going to want you to bring the dead chicken too.
And honestly, we took the turkey, we took a lot of babies, we took a couple grown chickens, and we spent probably $30 to find out we had coryza. I already had an inkling from doing research myself of what I was looking at, but
Well, even the vet kind of started pointing that way
no,
too.
I had to tell him what I thought we were looking at. And then he started researching, because that's the downside. 90% of your vets don't know chicken diseases. They know cats, they know dogs, they know big livestock. Some of them know rabbits. A few of them might know chickens, and even less know ducks and stuff. So yeah, when you get chickens, you really need to find a good vet. But we went back to get a replacement chicken, and they handed me a sick chicken. That's how we found out where we got coryza from. But guys, I was reading an article, and I still got it pulled up on my computer. Everybody's all avian influenza is a ploy for the government to cull the homesteaders' chickens. I was reading this article, and it was talking about how they found
You get wound up about something, Margaret?
Antibiotics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, antibiotics. Antibiotics. So yeah, that was what got that started.
It don't take much to get Rebecca wound up anyway. So.
Oh, Misty, you're good. But avian influenza, people are saying, though, that doesn't exist. It's just a ploy for the government. Well, avian influenza does exist. And they have found I don't know if I should call it a herd of mink from a mink farm. The entire herd
over in Europe or something.
Has the avian influenza. So it's now not passing from an infected bird to a mammal. It's passing amongst the mammals as well. So
I'm going to say this.
Yeah, probably what I'm about to say, but go ahead.
It's probably going to be your next.
That's what I was about to say, your next big thing. Because if it's able to pass between mammals, then if a person gets it, we can have a big, huge new problem.
And so, you know what they want to do then.
Oh, yeah. The big V. We're not going down that rabbit hole, but the ways to prevent avian influenza from being a problem to start with is to not just throw antibiotics at your livestock. Know what you're treating to begin with. So that's my advice, and y'all don't know the number of people I have argued with through this bout of coryza that, oh, my bird survived, therefore it wasn't coryza. Well, my flock did too. But it's still coryza. Textbook photos of little bubbles in the eyes and things like that. They were saying, what's wrong with my bird? I'd say, you have coryza.
This had a worm in his head or something.
Yeah, somebody said that. And I was like, no, it's not. Yeah.
They got there in their old head to do.
Yeah, they get like
weird things.
They get like dizzy and stuff. Yeah. But the majority of the ones that we lost with not a symptom. True. Remember that?
That's true.
The ones we tried to save, we lost anyway. But the ones that died with not a symptom even is the ones that got me. They were fine when they went on the roost, and the next morning they were dead on the floor. I mean, yeah, I get feisty about spreading diseases in the livestock community, but I am also maintenance free. I'm also don't treat it if it ain't broke. Don't fix it if it ain't broke. All that good stuff. I don't baby my chickens, but I do make sure their basic needs are met because they're meeting one of my basic needs called eggs and meat. So,
and that's probably the most eaten thing in the
it's
US.
the number one eaten thing in the
Meat.
world.
Meat, yeah. Well,
So, yeah.
Well, I'd say fish is probably above that.
We never had
A lot of
to
countries live off
range in that garden. It's so
fish.
much better to be eating natural. It is awesome to be eating natural. One of our friends tests the birds at the chicken houses for the poultry plants there. They're testing mostly for avian influenza because that's the one that is a cull disease. So coryza and most of the rest of your diseases is a cull or close disease. Avian influenza is a cull disease. So we have a closed flock. I cannot sell any of my birds from that flock to anybody. With avian influenza, if you get that diagnosis, it is a dead bird. It is a dead flock. You will not have a piece of poultry on your property.
One thing you need to hit on is going to other people's properties.
Yes.
And how each one of us should do and everything.
Yep, and I think that's what Misty just said. But look at the people who have no idea and think it's a sinus or a cold. Yeah, they don't get colds, people.
If like when people come here to our property,
I tell them up front.
Well, we ask, do they have chickens? And if they say yes,
but they think that I'm protecting my flock.
I'm protecting yours.
Mm-hmm.
So if you come here and you got chickens, we're gonna
tell you to bleach your shoes and don't wear them around your birds for at least 2 weeks.
Yeah. So if and we always try to make sure about that because we don't want to hurt nobody else's flock.
And I use that as a moment to educate people too about biosecurity, because if you have chickens, you need to be protecting your flock. You need to remember to quarantine any new birds that come in. And ours came in as chicks, so they were basically quarantined for a while. But I noticed that poultry had a little bit of a runny nose, and I tried to treat it. And, then when it got feathered out fully, 30 days later or more, then I put it in with the rest of them. And of course it spread because that chicken wasn't showing much signs.
If you ever noticed the big commercial chicken houses,
signs
they have
everywhere.
a big old sign there, do not enter. And that's why they don't want nobody bringing nothing in. So, like, if I come to visit somebody's property, I'm gonna make sure I'm wearing shoes that has not been in my chicken pen.
Going through Tractor Supply, when I was doing my research for coryza way back when we first got sick birds, I learned that you could possibly pick up the diseases from the feed stores because people don't realize what biosecurity means. You're responsible for your flock and what comes into it and out of it.
Really what you need is a pair of shoes at your house.
That you wear
just you wear it out there, and maybe have your little pan of Clorox that you can, because like we got rubber boots, that's what we wear in there, and just set them over in Clorox when you come out, and that way, and then I'll put on other shoes to go other places.
He probably means both of them, Miss Cryptic. She said, or Crystal said, you mean FDA? He said NSA just flagged our show. He probably means both of them.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Go ahead and add that USDA in there too, because USDA is what controls the poultry world. Yeah. FDA is the processing for the rabbits, which is weird.
Yeah, it's kind of strange how they got all that separated.
And national security too.
Well, that is.
Yeah, we talked about them things there that we should probably not be talking about. So.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, we need to get off the rabbit holes. Okay. Because we are that small channel that they will close down.
Yeah, that's true.
For talking about sickness and treatments.
Yeah, that's true.
And all that good stuff. So,
Well,
but biosecurity, guys, protect your own flock, because 90% of the people out there don't know enough to warn you that they have a sick chicken or had a sick chicken at any point.
people just don't think about it.
Yeah, they don't. Nowadays, we just treat it. I mean, Miss Pat, what is retina ios pigmentation? Pigmentatious. Not sure what that is. So how about them boogers? How about them boogers, Mark?
Oh yeah,
We got a video for Friday.
got a pretty good video. I hope y'all gonna like it.
And when we left the club, it was still working.
Yeah, so we're gonna see how that went. So hopefully Friday, I'm gonna show you 2 different areas with some stuff going on. I'm not gonna say it's Bigfoot, but you can see it. Spencer's probably already seen some of it. I think I sent him some pictures here a while back, but you'll see a little bit about it.
So we don't know if it was operator errors with the problems with the device, or if it was the device problems, or if it was zapped. We don't know. What we do know is my phone doesn't do it, but I'm always the operator of my phone. But there's also another little catch to it. So when I am there, very rarely does stuff happen.
Well, it does, but it's more indiscreet.
Yeah, it's like they don't want me knowing.
But yet, you know
But
they're
yet
there
I
because
know.
you can feel them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. It's like when they see the full figure step out in the road and I just see a rolling fog looking thing. I mean, I have never actually seen.
I seen where Little John may be coming this way this weekend.
You
He's
saw me tag him, right?
So he may.
You need to tell him to bring his ghost hunting stuff.
Well, I may
because that's more what I'm interested in. The paranormal.
He's from
side.
Tennessee too, but he's from over at Shiloh.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of his research area was the battlefield of Shiloh, and there on the Battle of Corinth, Mississippi. He said there's a lot of ghosts over there.
Why Spencer get all this special treatment? Oh my goodness.
Huh?
Why does Spencer get all this special treatment?
I don't know. What do you mean special treatment?
That's what Cryptic said. She said, why Spencer get all this special treatment?
I don't know.
There for a while, I thought we had a romance going.
Is he still on here?
No, he's grilling. But he said he's listening.
I don't know. I ain't thought about it.
Between him and Chris for a little while, Chris Reinhardt there, I thought we had a new bromance. Every day. And Joe Parker, too. Every time I turned around, he was talking to one of you 3. I mean, no joke. We had a new bromance.
Yeah, but if you'd been around when Mr. Tao was calling a lot, and Keith
it would have been the
calling,
same way.
You would have said, what in the world? And Adam. And
Well, Bradney.
So Kim had to put up with all that. So.
I was going to say bromance. That's what I'm saying. Bromance.
Well, I mean, anyway.
That's what I'm saying. It's a bromance.
Let's quit digging a hole here.
Who's digging?
You digging a hole. I didn't even bring it up. Y'all did.
I'm not the one having these conversations with people.
Well, we're talking about legit things.
He's at work. You're safe. Oh, Joe's safe. I mean, Joe's at work. He don't care if we call him a bromance.
That's right. He told me he'd be working tonight tomorrow night. See, I done talked to him.
See? The bromance continues.
We talked Sunday night for a little while.
It's Mark's hole. We just calling it. There you go. All right. Becca, you use the laying mash, growing mash shell. I'm going to assume that means oyster shell. What do I use? I use a 16% laying pellet.
And ours comes from Tucker Feeds.
We have Tucker Milling from our local feed store. Would I use Producer Pride? Absolutely. Yeah. I would.
Don't go on that.
I'm not. Both of them have the same amount of protein. I don't see any reasons that there would be any problems because of what I feed being the cheapest thing out there already. But we feed a pellet because the ability for them to rake it out is less. Laying mash, I want to say that a laying mash in a situation where they can't dig through it and waste half of it, would cause a better production maybe because it's more readily digested.
Right.
So if you have a situation where you don't have, limited money to feed your birds, feed them a good laying mash. It crumbles, and it's easier to digest. Now, also with our birds free ranging, they get enough grit and gravel and stuff that I don't have to give them oyster shells either. And that also can be said for why I just use a 16% layer pellet. They get a lot of protein from the bugs and stuff they eat.
Now, one thing I used to do
and all the
for
scraps.
calcium was
feed the shells back to them.
Well, no, I used to work at the marble quarry.
Oh, that's right. And
marble,
that was their grit.
Marble is 99.9% calcium carbonate. I mean, we used to have guys out there to get heartburn. They just get them a spoonful of marble dust, mix it with water, and drink it because it goes in Rolaids and all that anyway. But sometimes I'd just bring a 50-pound bag home and go dump it in the chicken pen.
Yeah.
And then they scratch it, peck it, and
there's their grit and their calcium.
Yeah.
Yep. Because chickens have to have a grit to digest stuff as well.
Which everybody I know don't live by a marble quarry. So.
Yeah.
But you can still get it at the feed store. You can get regular lime at the feed store. You want the calcium carbonate, not the one mixed with the magnesium.
You don't want the pelletized.
You just want the regular old. I think they call it calcium cata.
I don't know. Ours is ag lime and barn lime.
But so that's another good thing.
Yep.
Also, they get calcium for plants too.
Mm-hmm. And they get all of our plant scraps and produce scraps, and they ate high on the hog when we started getting rid of watermelons and pumpkins.
Oh boy, they got a watermelon every day. And chickens.
They got more than one watermelon every day.
Yeah, they enjoyed that.
Yep. The only thing they didn't like was the okra.
I think it's just because it's hard to pick it.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick.
I have not found an animal yet that likes the okra. Somebody told me the pigs wouldn't even eat it. I have to try that one.
I don't know.
Because we end up with a lot of okra that goes wasted. We really do. And we were supposed to talk about seed starting and stuff. Did we talk about starting seeds? How now is an okay time, but really and truly the earlier you start, the more you have to keep them in the greenhouse and upsize pots and stuff, the more work it is basically.
But you can go ahead and do it. Yeah.
But you can go ahead and do it. A lot of people started them last month. I'm starting them at the end of the month for what we're going to grow.
And you can go ahead and put root crops in the
potatoes are going in the ground.
That's white potatoes now.
Yeah. White potatoes are going in the ground the 12th and 13th according to the almanac. Now, here's the downside of planting potatoes early. What do we got going on right now? Mud. What are we going to keep happening? More mud. So a lot of times you don't want to plant them so early because they'll rot in the ground from too much moisture.
But we did plant some, what was it, last May?
Yeah, I think we planted them in May.
You made some potatoes. I
made a lot of potatoes. In fact, the video coming out on Monday, okra's good if it's fried. I don't do pickled, but it's also good dehydrated. Take and mix it, coat it in some garlic and seasoning and stuff, and then throw it in the dehydrator. It was actually good that way too. Never had fried okra made good. Oh my. We take ours and we do it the simple way. We take ours and we chop it up, throw it in a bowl of meal, let it coat. I mean, that's all it's doing is putting a dusting on there to seal the slime in basically. And then I chop up a green onion and throw them both in the skillet at the same time with some onions. So.
Hey, Joe.
That's how we do ours. Okra's great. Must not have had it done right. That's what they said. Hadn't been done right.
Yeah, Crystal, you probably need to come to the South.
Yeah.
And visit one time, and you might get some good okra.
Now it's okay in the freezer section with that thick stuff on it. That's a good okra. It really is.
But some people just don't like okra now.
I prefer just chopped and dusted with cornmeal, basically, and seasoning, of course, and chopped up onion with it, and chopped up fried green tomato, or chopped up green tomato, and then stir fry it all in the skillet. So
Going back to right now, you could get potatoes in the ground. You could probably do carrots. You could do turnips. You should be able to do radishes.
Any of your cool season.
Root, yeah.
Oh, do I have a good one on? Oh, okay.
You could probably go ahead and plant English peas. Or
yeah, I would go ahead and get the English peas in too. You'll have to protect them from a frost if we have any, but they are a cool season crop.
And if you do start seeds in the house, like I said, it may get to the point where you have to go to a bigger container.
Yeah.
Anything that you plant outside, like if you do it in a container or those, what they call them, grow bags, and it is a big freeze coming, you could just set them back in the house or something, or in the carport, somewhere where. Biggest thing you want to protect them from frost.
Yes.
The cold really sometimes cold will burn them too.
And you know what? I have planted those potatoes in the ground over there that time, and the frost didn't hurt them. It's the freeze that hurts them when the ground freezes. But we don't get that cold here.
Right. We don't get too many where the ground just really.
We don't get 9-degree days in March generally.
I think you'd be okay, and just kind of
watch your weather report.
Watch your weather, and you might be.
I think you're more worried about rotting your potatoes in the ground at this point.
But if you got them in them grow bags, they'll be up above the ground.
Make sure they can drain well.
Yeah. So,
Make sure there's something under there to where they can drain out.
Well, anytime you plant potatoes, you need to put them on ground that drains well anyway.
Because remember, we had them at your mom's in grow bags.
Yeah.
And we had to drill a hole in them.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
In a grow bag. We had to put a hole in a grow bag.
Another one, I'll tell you, we'll probably bring it. We might do this next week on the different meals and flours.
Yeah.
And what
As I say, we're running out of time on tonight.
I'll be doing some research on it. I know you can make flour out of about anything.
Now, with that being said, you have to adjust your idea of flour.
True.
Because most flours have gluten, and all of your alternative flours do not.
I've heard the big one is everybody loves pecan flour.
And almond.
But you can do okra, any seed, really. Just about any seed, within reasoning, you probably can make flour out of it. Even acorn, I've heard of people making acorn flour.
We have seen 90 degrees in March.
Oh, yes,
a day or two of 90 degrees in March.
We've had some 80s and 90s in Christmas.
It was 70 something today.
Yeah, it was hot today.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a spring. In fact, the Japanese magnolias are blooming around here, which they bloom kind of early.
There's one that's like I don't know what it's called. It's the same place up the road, the white blooms. What is it? I heard somebody called it a honeysuckle bush, but in my mind, a honeysuckle bush is a rhododendron.
Oh no, you might have to show it to me tomorrow.
Yeah, it's up the road. When you come down the windy part where that Japanese maple is on this side, it's right beside it. White blooms. I don't know what that is.
Maybe I was paying attention to Japanese magnolia.
But whatever that is blooming too. Huh?
Japanese magnolia.
Japanese magnolia.
You said maple.
Not maple. Maple. No, not maple.
Hey, the other thing, right now it's time for to be all probably up higher than us that you probably need to be tapping.
Yeah.
Because that temperature is going to probably start doing this up and down.
This is also the time to watch for the maple bloom if you have bees. Because this is the time you can stop feeding the bees.
And we'll probably do another show pretty soon about bees. Talk about them a little bit. We got a lot of stuff we can bring up and talk about.
Can't tap anything. I hardly ever get beneath freezing at night. Spencer, you don't get freezing at night? You're in the same boat we are then.
He's right on that edge, I think. Now, Misty probably gets more freezing.
He's closer to the coast.
Well, I think he's kind of, well, you have to ask Spencer. I think he's right there in the middle. Now,
because if he's zone 7, he should be still having some freezing nights.
Are you zone 7, Spencer? Now, like Joe and them, they down there in Louisiana.
That's different.
They probably, Well, I don't know.
They don't tap there either.
Well, they get some cold weather down through there because it comes down through Oklahoma and Texas, pours in there. Now I know Crystal, I think, is in Pennsylvania, so I don't know what zone she's in, but she's probably gonna be a little while. Hey, there's a group you need to watch up there at Way Crystal. It's in your areas. They call themselves the Veggie Boys.
Oh, I love the Veggie Boys.
That's another. They're not really. I don't call them a homesteader group. They do a lot of commercial farming, but they grow a lot of vegetables. And boy, they have some pretty vegetables.
And they have cows too.
Cows. And they got a store up there that you can even visit. Ever thought of? I was in that
He's
part.
3 hours from the coast in Zone 7, he thinks.
Okay, well, he's in almost same zone we are.
And
But we're
let's
3
see,
hours
5
from
and
the coast.
6 for cryptic. So Zone 5 and 6 is getting freezing temperature still. 3 hours from the coast, he's
about the same as we
about
are.
as us, just a different.
I think he's on the east side of the Appalachians, where
Mhm.
we're sitting over here on the west side
Yeah.
of it.
Y'all gonna get pigs and cows? Yes, we are going to get pigs and cows. We are going to get probably the Idaho pasture pig or the American guinea hog or the cooney coons. We have not decided, but we've kind of decided where we're going to put them. The cows, I would really, yes, it's on YouTube, Veggie Boys. The cows, I want dairy. And I've been watching a few of the homesteaders that trained it to an electric fence. And that's what I want to do, and move it each day or every couple of days, to where you keep the parasite load down and you've got fresh grass, that gets a chance to be eaten instead of mowed down. It gets to be grazed on and it gets to recover before you get your cow back around. That's what I want to do. Mark is not on board with that yet. He wants to wait till the fence is put up, but they are coming.
Well, I'm old school. I believe in a hard fence because that hard fence keeps a lot
Yes.
of stuff in and out. I know electricity fails,
I agree.
lightning strike,
Agree.
get broke.
But if they're already trained to it, they don't test it until
Yeah,
it's
but
been down for a while.
I think they know when it ain't working. But
That
yes,
hum is not there. You're right.
I do want to do that. I have no issue with that, and that's where we're going. But I like to get the hard fence up down the perimeter of the road and around a few other places, and do the electric toward the back, and give that a try. I mean, I'm not resistant to it. I don't know why you say I was not on board with it, but I am on board with it. I just got to figure out how to work too, make it work right. So, because another thing we need to do is probably build some chicken tractors and start some of these chickens, letting them work areas. You know that?
Give me a half second. It's my work.
Oh, okay. Oh, she's getting text by work. They probably want her to come in early. Well, Blue Eye Northern, you're in 8. Yeah, so you're kind of around where we're in that 7 to 8.
I got to talk to you about that afterwards.
And Misty says, what about goats and milking? And
Let's see. My lilies are coming. Yes, ours too. And I think mushrooms are going to come early also this year for those that forage for the mushrooms. She can't do no wrong. Who can't do no wrong? Gala lilies are coming up. 8A, hard fence agreement, had 1 acre electric fence fried by one dump storm. Yeah. And that's where I want to do, but I'm with him on the hard fence, especially on the road. So I'm patiently waiting. And what about goats? Goats are worse than cows. Ooh, goats are escape artists. I like La Manchas, but I'm also a heritage breed person. Heirloom, that's heritage breed. Heirloom open pollinated. There we go.
Some things come back from me.
I know. So Oberhasli is my chosen heritage breed goat. Now, here is where I am with the goat. I've never had goat milk.
You drank, yeah, you have.
Yeah, I did. I had that goat milk that time, but I mean fresh from the farm goat milk. Never had it. Also, in order to have milk, That means you have to have babies. And goats don't stay in milk as long as a cow does.
That's true.
That means more babies. I've never had goat either as a meat. So you have to have the plan for the babies as well. And I've never had goat cheese either.
You haven't?
I don't think so. So, yes, I want to try it.
We've played around with it. We've even played around about sheep because actually there's some sheep that you can milk and use for meat and wool.
And in reality, the chicken yard was meant to be a goat yard.
Yeah,
we fenced it with goat wire and everything, but then we planted our orchard over there, like gummies.
That's about that. I didn't mean to hit you. I'm sorry. I forgot.
Yes, you can make all that from goat.
Oh yeah. I might as well tell this story real quick. Since
Yep.
All right. When I was growing up, I'll try to tell it quick. My neighbor.
Let me say something to Misty real fast. Okay. Any animal that's on my farm will have a purpose. We don't have pets other than Sister and Misty and Callie. So yeah, if it's on our farm, we're going to eat it. I just don't know if I like it. So there's that.
So what you really need to do is go to somebody's have a goat cooking and try it and make sure.
Yes.
But here's the thing you can do too. You can still milk and do all that, then you can sell the goats to other people.
Yeah, that's what we said about the rabbits.
Well,
and instead I started everybody else's herd so they could sell them.
Well, the rabbit market in Alabama for some reason just ain't strong. I don't know.
Yeah.
Other states they have strong. But
so back to your story about your neighbor.
Yeah. When I was growing up, our next door neighbor raised a lot of goats. I mean, he kept a pasture full of them, and he had an old mean bitty goat. I hated that goat, and my mama did too, because our clothesline in the backyard, his property, our property joined right there. Well, his pasture joined him, and we had a clothesline up on top of a hill, and of course, when Mama would go up there, of course, he would be doing nasty things. If y'all know how a billy goat is, they just a nasty creature. I didn't like him because a lot of times, instead of walking all the way out to where the cows was to throw pea holes or whatever from scraps from the garden, I'd walk up there and throw them in the neighbor's pasture to the goats. And this old billy goat was just mean. He come down there, but all the nannies out of the way. And anyway, one day we were cleaning out the closet. I had to help my mom when I was younger. Besides tending gardens and fields and everything else, part of my job was helping her can and prepare the can. And we'd found some pepper sauce in the closet. It'd been in there a long time, and Mama said, dump that out. And they'd been in there so long, you could take your finger and just barely push through the lid. That's how much that acid had eat up that, that lid. So I had a mean thought come through my head. I said, I know what I'm fixing to do. I'm fixing to set that billy goat up. They always say they can eat anything. So I said, I'm going to see if he can eat anything. So I ease up there and I start dumping them jars over that fence, and I beller for him 2 or 3 times. And I knew, all of them would come, and I knew what he was going to do. And he run up. Of course, the nannies made it there first, but they were smart. They could smell it, and they wouldn't touch it. He run up, and of course, he grabbed him a pod right off, and he went to chew it. And I sat there and watched, and all of a sudden, you could just see his eyes get big, and he rolled his old head back, and you could see that old tongue coming out like a snake tongue, and he went to beller. And here he went toward their barn up there where they kept the water trough. I laughed. I know that was mean to do, but I laughed about it. My daddy come home that evening from work, and I told him, so I fixed up that old billy goat. He said, what'd you do, boy? I said, well, I fed him hot pepper sauce. He said, boy, you don't be doing animals like that. I said, well, he's a mean goat. And I said, I thought they could eat anything. He said, well, I guess you can't eat them. But he said, don't do that no more. But and my mama said, oh, I'm glad you done to it, that old nasty thing. And y'all know what a billy goat does. I'm not going to go no further with that. What they'll do sometimes.
They're just nasty critters.
They're just a nasty critter. So, but I know a lot of people might get mad at me about that. But that's what that. If you ever raised goats or been around them, you know what I'm talking about. And I've had a few in my lifetime, and I'm not real crazy about goats. Just never been that crazy about them. And like I said, we looked at the sheep a little bit. All right. What time is it getting to be? Because I know
it
we're...
is 7:28, so
All
it's
right,
about
so-
that time.
So
Let's see. I have a friend that puts pool noodles on his goat's horns. Yeah. Oh, he named his goat Satan. Even
who is that?
Cryptic said that's one of her friends that did that. Let's see. Oh my goodness, Misty, you got held for review.
Huh?
Yes, Mark. Old goats.
Huh?
The comment. It got held for review. I had to approve it.
For real?
Because she said horny old goat.
Oh. Lord, it's
Oh,
you two.
yeah.
That thing's touchy, ain't it?
It is. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just weird. I'm surprised it didn't flag because we said Satan in one of them. That would make it through, of course. Let's see. In Cincinnati, they use goats to clean up areas in some of the parts. That's a lot better than spraying. So, yeah, like everybody's already starting to say, we're going to go ahead and get off of here, guys. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you send us some love. Let people know that we are fun to be a part of.
I hope tonight we've helped some of y'all with some questions. I mean, we're not experts, so
Not by any means.
don't take that to the bank. I mean, I've made a lot of boo boos too, farming and fooling with animals. So, and I want to hear some of y'all stuff that you do. That some of you that's doing it, and I know some of you are getting into it or thinking about getting into it.
We may have to figure out how to use StreamYard and get Misty on one of our Wednesday night lives.
Well, you and her need to do one about paranormal too one night.
No, I mean one of our Wednesday night lives.
Oh yeah.
We could talk about chitlins.
Well,
And
everybody that wants to do it on here.
we could talk about chitlins and everything.
Why do we always want to talk? All right, y'all gonna make me cook chitlins. I'm gonna
No.
I'm gonna go down there and see
You are
Miss Carter.
not
She's
gonna
about
cook 'em
90
here.
something years old, and she used to make them. I'm gonna go see her and say, "Hey, I need."
Oh, Misty, you did not ruffle my feathers.
Oh, no.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's like I said, that's just one of those things I'm passionate about.
Yeah, don't pay her no attention.
That and MPS.
She didn't sound like she's getting excited, and you're thinking like, "Oh Lord," but she's really not.
She's really not. It's just how I am.
Yeah. You know when she's mad, I'll tell you that. How you know when she's really mad, I'll tell you. That's all. Not on you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But no, it takes a lot to make Rebecca mad. So.
Yeah, it really does.
But now when she gets excited, she sounds like she's mad, but she's not really mad. So.
When I start cursing.
Yeah, there you go. Then it starts getting rough.
Yeah. When I start cursing, there's a problem. Yeah. And I have been cursing a little bit lately at my job. Yeah. So
now me and her have disagreements about farming.
We do.
About gardening and how to do stuff because I was raised one way to do it.
He was raised big garden. I was raised small garden.
And so sometimes
there's a huge difference.
So sometimes we buck heads out there, but we finally end up figuring out which way to go. And,
Misty gonna teach me some new words.
Oh boy.
Hey Misty, you may not have to teach me. Just saying. Ask Mark. He's heard a few.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've stuck my foot in my mouth a few times. So.
which I helped stick that foot in that mouth. So, I own it. So anyway, yeah, Becca might be teaching you. That's right. I grew up in the system, guys.
Yeah.
It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't the greatest either. Like, comment, share.
Well, there's something else I was thinking real quick. If any of y'all would like to be on live with us sometime and talk about gardening, Yeah, I'm cool with that. We'll figure
And
out.
if you want to talk about Bitcoin on live, we'll do you on a
we'll
Friday Night Live.
Yeah, we'll do that on Friday. And I may do that some. I may do that every now and then. Just
You should, like once a month, bring on a guest.
And because there's a lot of people, but I would like. Yeah, I like playing with your little chapstick here.
It's raspberry lemonade, I think.
You try that out a little while.
Yeah, it's raspberry lemonade.
What?
Nothing.
What?
Talk.
Caught you a minute, didn't it?
Nope.
Y'all have to, but me and her cut up a lot. Y'all just have to pay us.
I won't feel like the pirate I am. Hey, we'll all have a show one day. Just get you
But-
all on.
Yeah, it would be cool to do that.
Facebook will YouTube will shut us down though.
Well, yeah. Because I mean, sometimes I open my mouth a little too much. I have to watch what I say.
We're still on the cursing over here.
Oh, okay.
Is it cursing or cussing? I'm sure it's cussing, but
Well,
cursing just
my
sounds.
daddy
more
would call it
hurtful.
foul language. That's what a lot of them used to call it, foul language. Or vulgar.
Vulgar, that's the one.
But,
Cussing's good.
uh,
Cursing is more appropriate to my professional self. How many people started
Easy.
laughing there?
easy.
My angelic self.
Easy now. You fix to be standing in the counter.
Yeah, I know. Lightning's gonna strike again.
All right, y'all. We may really start thinking about that, and
I gotta
would-
figure out how to use StreamYard.
yeah, and I would like every now and then to get into the paranormal because that's what Rebecca's more interested. Well, she's not. It's not. She's interested in Bigfoot, but she's more interested in the.
I have more paranormal experiences than I had Bigfoot.
Right.
I mean, I feel Bigfoot. I see tracks. I see evidence. I had my one seeing fog incident. But I feel like most of the times when I'm there, nothing happens.
No,
And it's
stuff
like
happens, but it's a little more.
It's like they
discreet.
hide it from me.
Maybe because they know you know something.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause
Well,
can
you
feel
remember when we went to the Bigfoot thingy up there in LJ?
to the museum.
Yeah, you remember that? And you remember that little video they showed that time?
Right.
About how that one little girl was friends with Bigfoot, and then the village made the Bigfoot go away and promise never to see the little girl again.
Right.
Sometimes I feel like I'm related to the little girl. Like the promise was made to not ever show themselves to that lineage, basically, and I'm part of that lineage.
Well, there's a lot of people who think there's. I mean, that's
I feel like there's a block, in other words. Kind of like, I bet if you take my Android phone out with you, you'll have glitches happen, and it's because I'm not there.
Yeah, but you can feel them when they're around.
I can
And
feel
we
them,
can pinpoint them.
and I can pinpoint them, and they don't come close.
Well, that when he come out the road, he was close.
He wasn't
Only
close.
reason he turned around because we all were looking at him. He knew he'd been had, and that he didn't like that. They don't like being had.
Oh, I know.
I mean, that kills them.
But how many
or
have
I
stood
think
there
it does.
and liked to be watched?
Huh?
How many have stood there liking to be watched?
Yeah, then that night, the one that stood up on the lake was right across the lake from us. He
I
stood.
never saw him.
Well, yeah.
I saw the eye shine or something.
All right.
So I never saw him, though.
I think you've experienced it more than you think you have because maybe they're coming up here to the house with you.
Oh, I mean, I know. That's what I'm saying. I get to see the experience. I get to experience the signs and the stuff like that, but I don't get to experience the actual.
One-on-one eyesight, 10 foot from you.
I've never seen eye shine except for the one on the bank that time.
I thought you'd seen it more,
No.
but you've having experiences here. Well, I'm gonna say we think that's what's happening here, but
I'm having evidence here. I'm not having part of the experience.
well, you did have some experience when something touched that door at night.
That door.
Well, I thought something.
Where I was in the back of the house.
and then
Oh,
you
yeah,
seen
something
movement
there.
go across that window, right?
But I don't know if that was paranormal because we have paranormal here too. So
Okay, all right. Well, people
Let's
don't
see.
get tired of listening to us argue.
I know, right?
So,
let's
we're
see. Mark
giving
would
them
have to
some-
wash my mouth out with soap. That would be interesting. Catch me first, yeah. But as far as paranormal goes, I can see ghosts.
Yeah, but I have too before.
I know, but I'm just saying I've had a lot more experience
Well, that's
with paranormal, and that's
Yeah.
why
maybe
I guess
you
I
and-
lean more towards the paranormal than the Bigfoot because I
That
know
might-
more about it.
that might be where you and Misty need to do a live.
Exactly.
And then too, I need to probably holler at Faith one day.
You definitely do, and
Since-
that's why I said you
since
need
she's
to make
not
sure
60.
Little John brings his stuff.
Well, Little John's had a lot of experience with that. So.
So,
And then he fell into the Bigfoot world for a little while too. So. All right, I guess we better get off him. We done entertained and been a soap opera tonight. So, hey,
Mhm.
gotta have humor. We got to be positive. We gotta have humor in life because life's too short. And if we don't have some humor in it and cutting up with each other, I don't know. It's just-
Exactly.
Yeah.
And everybody's entitled to their own opinion. We need to make sure that we respect their opinions.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I know in the Bigfoot world, well, down this way, there was stuff went on yesterday with some people, but I don't know. But anyway,
Cryptic, it don't sound absurd. Trust me. When I tell people about how mine feels, that's the one that sounds absurd.
what's that?
Cryptic feels she gets a ringing in her ear, and Misty feels them too.
Okay.
Cryptic said there's ringing in her ear, and she knows that sounds absurd.
I
No,
wonder
that
if
doesn't sound absurd.
women
Feel different?
feel different because, of course, we are different. We're made up a little different. I wonder if y'all are more in touch with.
Those extra senses that aren't the original 5.
I don't know. Something to think about. All right, y'all. Y'all know who always support. Chris Reinhardt would discover Sasquatch. Spencer and Misty would Woods Walkers with a Z. Southern Appalachian Sasquatch Seekers on Facebook. That's Misty and her family.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle with Encrypted Connections.
Is it encrypted or cryptic?
Encrypted. Lauren with Night Callers.
Hell bent holler.
Yeah, Hellbent Holler. I like watching a lot of their stuff. They're playing with lights a lot. Y'all all go check that out. They've been up to Brown Mountain in North Carolina the other night. And yeah, they got it on video. There's little lights just shooting off that mountain, little round orbs, I call them. And then in North Georgia, they got into some lights.
Interesting.
That was weird. And then they seen figures going around them. So I don't know if that's more paranormal or alien or devil worship or what all that's coming from. I don't know if that's Bigfoot or I don't know what all that is. What else?
Dry non-fat meat. Okay.
And also Barton Nunley with Inhuman Always. He's had some good guests on his YouTube here lately telling their experiences and stuff. The last one he had on there was from Mammoth Cave, and we've been there.
Oh yeah.
We've kayaked down the Green River, and this dude, that ferry he was talking, where we went and rode across. That's where he's been researching,
Oh
and
wow.
they've been seeing stuff.
Oh wow.
So
And it's the working ferry, not the ones that are down.
now it's the working ferry,
Nice.
and so
Because
and
remember they
seen,
had other ferries, but they weren't working.
and they think they seen what you call the predator. One that-
Interesting.
They said it just went cloaked all of a sudden, went up a tree, disappeared. So that's weird. So that's pretty cool. All right, y'all, we're going to get off here. And also remember Deep South Homestead, Perma Pastures,
Holler Homestead.
Holler's Homestead, and there's some other good ones. I can't remember them all. Y'all remember all of those too if you're looking for homesteading stuff. They have some good stuff going on. Nothing else I know of.
That's all I know. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Homesteading videos should be on Mondays. I know I didn't get one up Monday, but I'll have one up this coming Monday. Lives on every Wednesday, and fireside chats will be on Fridays.
And I am going to start doing once a month live on Fireside Chat. So it'll be a Friday night, probably be like at 7 o'clock.
Unless it's during the day outside. I was gonna say, don't start setting a time for that one. I
Well,
don't know how to tell you to do that one to get people on it.
well, as daylight gets longer, we may be able to go up on the Hunt Club and do some lives from some of them ridges, and we might be hearing stuff going on
That'd be good.
because daylight savings time is coming.
Oh
in
my
the
gosh,
first
it
month.
is, isn't it?
Yeah, so we might be able to go up there and do some lives. And oh yeah, Jonathan Odom with
Oh yeah,
Alabama Bigfoot Paranormal, and his YouTube is Jonathan Odom.
and it's Alabama Paranormal and Bigfoot.
And he
he's
did
got an
tell
outing.
me he did go back, and them videos are there off of Creepy Mountain, but he didn't really say Creepy Mountain because he wasn't trying to give away where they were at. He said you had to kind of do some digging, but they there. The one where he caught the booger crossing the holler in the summer when
And the
he's sitting in
square
the cooler,
orb.
the square orb, and the one crawling around the lake doing the spider crawl.
Mhm.
He said they're there. He said you just got to look real good. So go look back around about 4 or 5 years ago. They're going to be in there. Yeah, they're there. So, or he said they was. I haven't went back and checked it, but he said they were there. He didn't take them out or nothing. But he said he didn't label them Creepy Mountain just because he wasn't trying to give away location.
Right.
So,
Okay.
Yep. All right.
All right.
Love y'all. Take care of yourself and get along.
All right. Bye, guys.